After Iran's unprecedented attack on Israel over the weekend, the world awaits the next move by the two countries. And for the first time in history, a former U.S. president will stand trial on criminal charges as Donald Trump's hush money trial begins. The Morning Rundown starts now.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world. This is the Morning Rundown.
Today is Monday, April 15th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kara Rucker. Over the weekend, Iran launched an unprecedented assault on Israel. It is believed to be Iran's first time directly targeting Israel from Iranian soil. The attack was said to be retaliation for a suspected Israeli airstrike on Iran's embassy building in Syria that killed top commanders 2 weeks ago. The question today is whether Israel will retaliate back, as President Biden warns Israel against any further escalation, telling them to take this as a victory after its defense systems were able to block nearly the entire assault. Nearly all of the 350 drones and missiles launched toward Israel on Saturday were shot down by the Israeli military and its allies, including the U.S., Great Britain, France, and Jordan. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's war cabinet met Sunday evening, but with no decision made yet on how Israel would respond to the attacks, as the world awaits Israel's next move. President Biden says the U.S. will not support a counterattack. The IDF released a video in response to Iran's escalation.
Together, we intercepted 99% of the threat towards Israel. Together, we thwarted Iran's attack. Iran's unprecedented attack was met with an unprecedented defense. This was the first time that such a coalition worked together against the threat of Iran and its proxies in the Middle East.
Following the barrage of strikes, Iranian officials say they deemed the matter concluded, but warned of a more severe response to any future Israeli moves against Iranian interests. In a phone call with Benjamin Netanyahu, President Joe Biden congratulated the Israeli Prime Minister on the defensive operation against Iran's attacks, with reports saying Biden told Netanyahu the U.S. would not take part in a counteroffensive against Iran. White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby only confirming the U.S. does not want to see a wider conflict. Biden then convened with leaders of the G7 nations on Sunday. The leaders of the U.S., Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, releasing a joint declaration condemning the attack and expressing their full solidarity and support to Israel. The leaders saying Iran's actions were leading to destabilization in the region, demanding Iran and its proxies end their attacks. Iran's attack on Israel prompted an emergency meeting by the United Nations Security Council amid fears of a growing war in the Middle East. Israel requesting the meeting on Sunday, the Secretary General of the UN saying it is, quote, time to step back from the brink, and calling on United Nations to actively engage with all parties to prevent further escalation in the region. Ambassadors for both Israel and Iran were present at the meeting. Israel's ambassador advising the council to issue crippling sanctions against Iran, saying the country has crossed every red line. Iran's ambassador saying Iran had a right to defend itself following the deadly strike on its embassy in Syria. The Iranian official and the U.S. representative to the UN both saying they don't seek war with each other, but would respond to attacks on their interest. Jury selection for former President Donald Trump's hush money trial begins today, marking the first criminal prosecution of a former U.S. president. The historic trial focuses on allegations that just days before the 2016 presidential election, Trump falsified business records to conceal reimbursements for hush money payments that could potentially affect the election's outcome. Trump has pleaded not guilty and claims the trial is a witch hunt.
Well, jury selection is largely luck. It depends who you get. It's very unfair that I'm having a trial there, It's very unfair that we have this judge who hates Trump and has tremendous conflict, as you know, tremendous conflict. Nobody can believe that this judge isn't recusing himself. The conflict is at a level that nobody's ever seen before.
Trump faces 34 counts of falsifying business records. If found guilty, he could see a maximum 4 years for each count. Jury selection is expected to last at least a week. Today is tax day in America. For the first time since 2019, April 15th is the deadline to file your income tax returns. The IRS says they have already received more than 100 million tax returns and are expecting tens of millions more today. April 15th is also the deadline to file for an extension. The IRS estimating 19 million taxpayers will file for one, though tax payments are still due today. Taxpayers in Maine and Massachusetts have until April 17th to file their taxes because of the observances of Patriots' Day and Emancipation Day. According to a 2023 Pew Research study, about half of Americans are frustrated by the complexity of the federal tax system, with 53% saying it bothers them a lot. Our Simone Del Rosario has a closer look at the tax code in a special report on our website, san.com. Finally this morning, for the second time in his career, American golfer Scottie Scheffler earned the right to wear the coveted green jacket by winning the 2024 Masters tournament on Sunday. Scheffler, who also won the 2022 Masters, is only the 18th golfer to win the tournament multiple times and the fourth youngest to achieve that feat. Thanks to his victory at August National, the 27-year-old Texan earned a record $3.6 million and, of course, his second traditional green jacket. These are your top stories for this Monday. Unbiased, straight facts. That's Straight Arrow News. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great day.